We begin with general readings and quick messages that I will channel for all signs. Does not matter. It is not sign specific. You will notice variations in my voice as I read. That is, as I channel, variant accents may come through in that. If you are looking for a sign reading, I do each sign, full moon, new moon, and then I do on the quarter moons, north and south nodes. And I do for each sign. The way that I do the signs is for where you have that placement, in what house you have it in your chart. So just when I do a Taurus reading, it will not be just Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising. It will be Taurus wherever you have that placement in your chart, whether it's the 7th house, the 5th house, or etc. It is the energy presenting in that house for you. Before I begin, not all messages will resonate. Various messages will come through as they are channeled. Take what seems to suit you. If nothing does, don't worry. There will be a variety of messages very quickly, and this is a very different kind of reading than you're used to. They are just quick channeled messages, and with that I'll begin. Cobweb, protected from negative forces beyond your control. For those of you who feel trapped in one place, that there is no escaping from it, remember that sometimes we are held where we need to be until we learn the lesson that we need to learn there. It is not a form of punishment. It is not because you are not learning fast enough. It is that things take time, and very often we will find that we have learned it, but to assimilate that into our existence, our being, and our way of living takes longer than the realization of what it is we need to learn. So understand that if you feel you have learned your lesson but are not moving on yet, it is still assimilating into every part of your life and in all aspects of your behavior. Next message. We have dogs getting together with friends. For some of you, there has been a lot of bickering and barking between friends and potentially between, I do not feel lovers here. For a very few, yes, lovers. There is a time to which it is good to settle down. It is to say we have disagreed, but we agree on more than we disagree. There is a time to be playful. Remember how the dog runs, fetches, chases its tail. Some of you have been barking viciously at each other, and it is time to be playful. End of the message. Carriage, a journey either physical or mental. Bear with me a moment. Dear Julia, it's a little hard to channel with you licking me like that, okay? Thank you. I'm going to have to pull a different card on this one. I did miss the message. Hey, sweetie. Shock. Take care. There are those who will be lost in a material wealth. I will reread that as to state what the card does say. Take care, or there will be a loss of material wealth. I'll ask to continue channeling. For some of you, it is tempting to be a shock. It is not an insult to you, nor a criticism, but just an awareness that we all need. I will wait till she positions. And there, down, little one. We all have to swim in the same sea. Many times we have felt like we are the tiny fish. Sometimes we have felt the We are felt as a parasite attached to a larger sea creature without our own independence. And it feels as though one must be a shark, one must be vicious, one must be attacking, one must be feared to have an independence free of others' influence. But it's not always the case. Even as the fish swim in a school, they're all independent, but they're always communicating. And by that communication, they can collectively all know the warnings. They can escape the predator. They can safely swim the waters. Many of you who had the many of you who resonated with the former message of the dogs, this is also for you. And those who did not resonate with dogs, understand that fierce independence is not always a strength, because it blocks you from being able to share your gifts with others, and it blocks you from receiving others' gifts that are meant to be passed to you. Swim wisely, but not as a threat to other swimmers on their journey. End of message. Okay, there's another here. We have returned to the Carriage card. A journey, either physical or mental. Many of you have felt held back and handicapped on your journey. Movement is sometimes slow. For those of you concerned with the slowness of the travel, understand the destination is not prepared yet for you. This is not a message of you not being prepared for the destination. The destination is still being prepared. For you to arrive early would cause conflict with where you're headed and what gifts you have to bring to that destination. Have patience at this time. Know that each stop and each town, metaphorically, on your way, that you may be stationary in. You have been placed stationary there for a reason. There is something you have to give, something you can gain, something you may enjoy. The destination is not prepared for you yet. You are prepared for the destination. Be patient. End of message. There are two cards for this. It's broke here. Okay, I will take these then. Tortoise. Slowly but surely you get ahead. And with that is a rooster. An arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. Please bear with me a moment while I bring back the channel. For those of you who do practice Reiki, there is something in this, because I do feel it in the hands, that you may wish to be doing that at some time. Let me pull the cards in for a moment. I feel a different voices coming through. If you could state that who? Between the two cards, we have a boastful person in your way. And it feels like you will not get ahead with them, but that is okay. Understand the old story of the rabbit and the hare. The rabbit and the hare. That must be what it feels like. Here you are, hare who can raise the head. Remember the tortoise. The turtle is the one who won. And yes, this boastful one, the rabbit, will take its nap. Keep working hard. Keep doing your best. Keep growing. Keep expanding your knowledge, your skills, your strengths. Because there will be a point where that person who tries to outshine you runs out of tricks and takes a nap. And that is when you get ahead. Because yours is true and steady and skillful and committed to the long term. You are not one to take your naps. You pace yourself, you get ahead, you win. Yes, the chatter from the other. The chatter won't last. And many are growing tired of that chatter anyway. So do not be tempted to join into the gossip about it. Keep about your pace. Keep steady in what you're doing. You'll win the race. End of message. Wondering if we are going to a different deck or not. Give me a brief moment. Okay, so I'm being told, some of you who would like messages of reassurance, gentleness, we will move to this deck, is where I'm being guided. We will also be pulling from, I'll show you, we will be pulling from this oracle card. There are those of you who need some cards in here, I'm being told. This deck that I just pulled out right now, hold on just a moment. This deck here is, for some of you, these messages won't resonate at all. They'll feel a little bit saccharine. Okay, I understand that. And we will get to messages from here that will be more substance filled for you. Okay. Let's try and do this. Okay, what do we have in here? Hello, Julia. Yes. All right. We will place the tea leaves aside and move on from them. Viva Spirit. Lay a solid foundation. Some of you are a little too hectic right now. I'm reminded of the building blocks card in the Wisdom Oracle here. It takes time. One moment. I don't usually channel this one, but it wants to come through for whoever needs it. So please bear with me as I do. Be for Spirit. Lay a solid foundation. Number 6, for those of you who care for numbers. What is that game where you have Jenga and you build those and you try and pull one piece out at a time? you're doing almost the opposite. You're trying to, how do I see this? It's not a house of cards. How do we verbally? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and pull, because I know what I'm channeling is not finding words. The gist of what I'm getting for this one is, some of you, it's like I'm seeing things hanging off of the countertop. There's like laundry hanging out of the laundry basket. A lot of you are, I'm going to say this from like my own personal understanding and the best way I can translate what wasn't able to be channeled verbally there, but I did hear a lot of in my head. I have ADHD, and if you know anything about that, we start like, we'll pick up an object in one room because we need to put it away in another room, and on our way to the other room we see something else, so we put that object down and we pick another thing up, and it's like, by the time like I can spend like a half an hour trying to clean, all I have done is shifted things to all the wrong rooms and made a bigger mess. So there's this real need to focus down on the one task at a time, because when you have multiples that you're trying to work out, what happens is you get a little bit done here, but it's, I don't want to say sloppy. I don't like saying, oh, you're doing sloppy work, but it's precariously laid on the table so that as you rush off to go work on this other project, it gets bumped, and then all the papers fall on the floor, and now you have a big mess there to pick up, and you're trying to get over here, and on the way you are carrying the coffee, so now you spilt the coffee while you were trying to pick up the papers. Some of you are in that, it's metaphorically in that energy, and what the card is saying is, like, list the things and say, which is the most important one that I need to get done first? And then do that first. Get that foundational one down first. It's sort of like, if I don't get this one done, then how am I really going to get any of those done? And it's going to be hard for some of you to figure out which is the one you have to work on first. I understand that. That's come through. All right. I'm going to move on from there, I think. I'm hearing be careful, but not as a warning. Some of you just need to be a little bit less, I'm going to say absent-minded, because I tend to be absent-minded. Pay more attention, be more present in what you're doing so that careless mistakes don't happen. Okay, we can move on. That, I think, is the full message that wanted to come through on that one. Okay. We're up to 18 minutes here, so Wasp Spirit, sometimes life stings. I'm going to do this just because there's something very strange in here. I'm going to show you this. This is a bit unusual, but I'm noticing this is the feathers in that, and if you can see the feathers dangling there, and I believe the thing I was being told, I'm hearing, you're not a wasp, you're a hummingbird. You sing, you don't sting. Okay, so there, being drawn to the card that was at the other side at the bottom, I believe, which is Mouse Spirit. This is tend to the small things. For those of you who pay more attention to be more careful, this is just a little bit extra for you, and this is also for some of you who that does not apply. the tending to the small things. There are large projects you're working on, but it's a reminder not to forget that even though it may be small, it is important. Okay, channel come through. Often we forget how significant people and moments that society call insignificant, how significant they really are. Those are the little moments we treasure, we remember. Do not be in such a hurry to do large things, to do the carpool, the appointments, the after-school programs, all. Why are you running to the gym when you could walk through the forest? Or even sit at a bench at a park with a friend? When was the last time you took a walk with a friend? It has been too long. The moments of our lives that we don't label are the moments where we are most able to connect, because we are free of the restrictions of what the moment is externally dictated to be, and we are allowed to let our spirit with the other create the moment naturally. Okay, thank you for that message. I enjoyed that message. I don't know how you guys felt about that message. One more. Lizard spirit. Dream the world into being. This is a different one This is a different guide coming through that I'm trying to recognize it. Okay, hold on a moment while I try and connect with this. Okay, I'm going to hold the card so you can see clearly. I'm being told the number is important for some of you, is number 38. You have everything that you need. What is holding you back? Examine what's holding you back. Stop looking at the things that you think you're missing, the time that you don't have. What fear in you is it that is truly what is holding you back? All right. From there, we are going to move on. As I said, for some of you, you needed a different one. I don't know if there's a different channel that's going to bring in that. Okay, let me get this back in here and set aside so we're cleared for that. And let's move on to here. Okay. If I didn't introduce her, here is Julia. I'm Olivia. Okay, and we have the Hunter card for you. Be brave. You are always brave, and you know you are always brave. You know that you have always defended. You've always protected yourself. You have had to stand up for yourself. And you have been against tough ones, and you have survived. But under that strength, you project to the world that you do have. By all means, you have that strength. that you're at a point where you're forgetting where your own fears are. And the moment you forget your fears, you forget how to face them and they gain control over you. So now is the time to pause, to take a good check and say, where are my fears? Especially if you're walking around thinking you can face anything. No one lives without a fear. It is part of our lives. We are designed to have fear. It is our journey to face those fears, to understand them, and overcome what we can. But if you lose sight of what your fears are, your fears will find a way to take control. Okay. Oh, God. Ugh. Something jumped out there. Yes. Yes, something jumped out there. Would you have the protection guardian there? I feel like an energy just jumped in there and startled me or something. I don't know. I think I got startled about something. This may be a continuation for that last message. Not for everyone for that last message is what I'm understanding. Some of these seem to have links, but for some of you, there is no link to another message. Take whatever resonates with you, leave the rest, and don't worry if none of these fit for you. Never force anything to fit. Okay, let me just see. This is the protection guardian. Drop your shields. This is not to drop your shields and let go of the boundaries that are necessary to keep what is not meant to come into your space away. But for some of you, you have set up boundaries to your own energies. Many of our greatest strengths were once what we buried as a part of ourselves that we feared. Fear, in this case, is from a lack of examination, knowing, and understanding. Set away your shield, one fear at a time. Do not tackle all of them at once. Do not try and get 3 or 4 or 2 or 3. One at a time. It will present itself. It will be a soft whisper that you already hear and you know needs tending to. Listen to it. Learn what it has to tell you. Beneath the scare of the fear, the lie of the fear, the myth of the fear, there is a truth beneath that when understood, gives us greater insight into ourselves and the world around us and how to navigate it without the necessity of fear in that particular area. There is one that has been whispering to you because it is ready to explain itself. And once that communication opens, it's not a fear anymore. I'll say no more. Go listen to that voice that is speaking. And when you've heard that, you will hear a few others. There are many of them to listen to. Okay. I'm just gonna personal thought on that one. That came out to talk about fears, and like when the card came out, I actually jumped in fear. Okay, let's see, we are at 29 minutes. I'm gonna end this here for the half hour. I will get to each of the signs, and remember, when I do the signs, I do for how that sign is presenting in your birth chart, in the house that that sign is in. All right, thank you, and I will hopefully catch you and all the interesting voices that come through in the next reading.